guys doing? Today we're going to be making alfajores. I'm gonna show you a step-by-step process into something I have been making for approximately, well, since I am 13. I am 41 now, so do your math. It's delicious. They are a Peruvian delicatessen, a Peruvian little treat that every single Peruvian I think loves and fall in love with. My neighbors love them. I am gonna make them step by step with you because I made them the other day with my sister and we had a lot of fun. We sort of cook along, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. They're delicious, they're small, they're tiny, they're filled with dulce de leche. You will see them, you will love them. And thank you for letting me share this recipe with you that has been in my family for so long. Let me gather my ingredients and my tools. Everybody, all right, so I gathered all of my tools. So I want to talk to you very quickly about the tools. I have a food processor, a pastry cutter, and a fork. I am going to use the food processor, but if you don't have a food processor at home, you may use a pastry cutter because we want to cut the batter into the flour. But that process can also be done with a fork. If you don't have neither of these ones, a fork can help you cut that in. Just make sure that you cut that batter in very small cubes and then just work it with your fork. A food processor, especially one fancy one like this one, comes sometimes with two different blades. One that is called the regular blade for any food chopping, and one that's called the dough one. For today, I'm gonna use this one because most people will have this one at home and not this one. So I'm gonna be using this one. Another thing that we're gonna use today, it's a rolling pin. Just choose your favorite. My house, in my country, they give it to you as soon as you get married. You can find out why. But we're going to be using a cookie cutter. So I have to choose if I want my alfajores to be small or if I want my alfajores to be, see, on the medium size. I'm gonna choose this one over here, right here. I want them to be medium size. So that's been chosen. I have 2 cookie sheets, perfect. My rolling pin, that's gonna be used later. My cookie cutter, and one very important thing, a scale. A scale is super necessary in the kitchen. Try to get one if you can. If not, I'll try to later on to measure these ingredients by cups so that you can measure that in your house by cups. And always using a standardized cup, which is not the same as your mug, all right? Let me show you over here the ingredients. I have powdered sugar, I have flour, cold butter, and I have some evaporated milk and dulce de leche that comes in a can. These balls over here are gonna help me measure my ingredients, so I will see you guys as soon as I measure all of the ingredients. Hey, all right, we got everything measured, and just as a tip, as you measure, put things away. You don't want them when you're making alfajores, you don't want your big buckets laying around. So put them away, get everything ready. I even put my dulce de leche inside a pastry bag with a tip so that I can fill at the end my alfajores. So I'm gonna put everything into the food processor. So look over here, flour, powdered sugar. We're gonna close it up and we're just gonna fluff it. Just pulse it together. Just a couple times, open it. My batter, which I cubed, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm just gonna spread it around. Perfect. Perfect. I'm gonna dry my hands a little bit. They're a little greasy. That's why this towel's here. I'm gonna close it up. Now we're gonna pulse it. So look over into our food processor. So we are cutting the fat into the flour. Same way as we do biscuits, same way as we do shortbread, same way as we do pie doughs. We want to make sure that those pieces of butter become really, really small. Alright guys? So the flour is sort of gonna look like a polenta, a little bit yellow too. So I'm gonna show you that. Wow, look at that. It looks just like a semolina, polenta, very sandy. Pieces of butter are in there, but this most butter is all in. Now, we're gonna put this back and we're gonna start pulsing and we're gonna add, and you're gonna leave it. Do you see that? I'm leaving it a little bit on and adding this at the same time. Check it there, and now you start pulsing again. When you're adding, you have to keep it running constantly. But once you finish adding, you have to start pulsing and then pulse steady, and let it go. And then once the flour has all been grabbed by the dough, check it out. Some mixers are gonna go into a bowl if they're small. Mine is a large one, so it's not going to do that. But my dough is beautifully ready. I'm just going to sprinkle some extra flour. You should always keep a little extra flour when you're gonna bake. And we're gonna transfer these over here. I'm gonna, with my fingers, not with my palms, I'm gonna bring this dough nice and together into a bowl, and I'm going to make it into a disc. This needs to go into the fridge for approximately 30 minutes or your freezer for approximately 15 minutes. Look at your dough, it's perfect. We have a nice dough that we're gonna stretch into alfajores. I'm gonna wrap this in plastic wrap and I'll see you guys back in 15 minutes. Out of the freezer. So my 15 minutes have passed. It's nice, it's cold, my batter is all nice and set. These cookies are super crisp. That's why it's so important that the dough that you made gets cool, because of the crispiness that you're gonna have in the end process. There's different types of alfajores. I am the fan of that crispy, soft texture ones. So I'm gonna divide this in two to make it a little easier on me to stretch the dough. And I'm gonna keep what I'm not using covered, all right? So I'm gonna sprinkle this with flour, generously, perfect. My rolling pin, flour your rolling pin, and you're going to softly, the other way around, just to start flattening, and then you're gonna roll it, twist it, I'm going to put some flour on top, and look what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my bench scraper, I'm going to bring it to the side, flip it around. Now I have the other side is floured, and I'm going to start stretching. It is not a pie, so don't worry about those crackled edges. But one thing it's very important. I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to come closer and see this. I'm rolling. I get to the end. And most of what we do is this. Pock. But at doing that, you're flattening your edge right over here. We don't want to do that. The right way will be go on top, roll it, roll it, roll it, and once you get to the end, lift. You don't want it to get flat on the edge. We'll get to make a pie another day, but today it's all about those alfajores. The dough gets very thin, stretch. My hand, I go over to make sure that my size is all equal. You could also use those things that you use for fondant, that you put some elastics here. But that's too much when you want to just have fun. So we're gonna cut them, circles. I'm gonna cut all of these circles right there. But look what I'm going to do with my sheet pans. I'm going to sprinkle them with flour. I find it unnecessary to spend my parchment paper on this because it works really good with sprinkling just the flour. Then I'm gonna grab my alfajores cookies. My neighbor, he calls them heavenly cookies. For him, it tastes like heaven. I think that's so cute. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna show you when we're ready to put in the oven. But just finish this. It's gonna take you maybe 5 more minutes and then we will be baking this together. All right, guys, see you in a minute. Okay, friends, we have all of our cookies done. Might have taken me, what, 6 minutes? No more than that, probably. I have stretched all of our cookies. I want you to observe how thin they are. They're very thin. That's the way I make these ones. And I want you to observe too that I have an odd piece here because I used up until the last little bit of dough I have. So my oven is preset to 375. As soon as you start cooking, always set your oven. My oven is ready to go. And I'm going to put this inside the oven, center. Close it up. Timer, 6 minutes. In 6 minutes, we'll be right back. Right, friends. This is ready to go, so we're gonna do a little rotation. We're gonna bring these ones down. Look how I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna bring these ones up, rotate, put up. Then this one needs to be rotated and put in. They're very light in color, trust that. And this needs another 6 minutes. I'm actually gonna untrust myself, okay? I'm gonna put 4 minutes. Right, I want you guys, how are you? I want you guys to know this very closely here. Some of these cookies on the side are a little browned, and that's totally okay. That's usually what happens to the edges. Look at the center ones, they're completely different from that. I'm touching them, they're cooked, they're nice, crisp, but there's only one more step to go, and it's cooling down. When you cool down your recipes, always make sure that you have a a cooling rack. So I'm gonna grab my cooling rack. You see, I did forget one tool, and it was my cooling rack. So I'm gonna go grab it, and you'll see them in the cooling rack in the next part. Well, friends, it has come to an end. It's time to enjoy our alfajores. I want you guys to see how I'm going to fill them, because this part is super important, as if you try to mush them together, they'll crack. But if you take the time to put them apart, just like I'm doing, and you took the time at the beginning to put your dulce de leche into a piping bag, you will be able to do just this. I'm gonna fill them in a little circular motion, kind of like an espiral. If you guys can see closer, it's very easy. You don't want to fill it all the way to the edge, and you don't want to put a whole lot of dulce de leche. In my country, we call this manjar blanco, the very best of something white, which is the milk. A manjar means something delicious, and manjar blanco is nothing else but delicious. You grab your other cookie, but this time you're gonna use the bottom part, the one that touched the sheet pan. Finger, finger. So we're gonna put them, all of them, very quick. I don't want to keep you here all day. Plus, you have probably a bunch of people already seeing you make this at home. I hope you took the option of making this with me. And I have to say, thank you for letting me into your kitchen. And thank you for coming to mine. There we go. Oh my gosh. Always beautiful food has to come through the eyes. We're going to sprinkle this, or dust, with some powdered sugar. And I prepare these to put our alfajores. I want you guys to see them. They look beautiful. For me, alfajores are like going back in time, literally. I am holding my daughter's hands and walking down the street, walking to all those little bodegas in Peru to sell my alfajores. And it gives my heart just a very happy, sad, bittersweet, every emotion, every feeling you can believe, it's in my eyes right now. Because, you know, when you make something for a living, it just brings you closer together to the product. So guys, we're ready for this. It's been a pleasure to have you in my kitchen, and I hope I am in yours and you're making this. Thank you.